All right, so I think we should start off with mapping. And let's take a quick look at the mapping that at least some of the folks have seen already, and then we'll get into the things that we've enhanced.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the map that came out earlier this year, where we allowed you to put your network devices in there and some of your application stuff in here. So this map right now, we can see it's using network connectivity to show your core router and errors and discards to another router, anything along those lines. And you can pretty much, this is in our demo, publicly available right now. You can use it and try it today and basically map out your, at least in this case, your network.
Right, and the big deal here is that it's automatic. At no time did anybody have to select devices and throw them on or anything like that. It's all done because of all the information we're already gathering about all these devices.
Yeah, I think what's important is all this stuff is in context, and that's what this does. It shows you A and B are talking, or maybe it's A and C, where you're not having to sit there and go dig through some Excel spreadsheet that you had, hey, this is connected to this, or some archaic Visio diagram or something like that. This is live and changing as your environment's changing.
Right, and this is nice. I mean, it's network, it's nice, but we're systems guys here. I think we can own that. So do we have a systems example that we've shown before?
Yeah, so what this also does is extend over to systems. So here we can see that we've got an Exchange server, and basically we started mapping this out in Q1 with our ADM technology. Basically, you know, it puts netstat on the box, basically starts seeing what it's talking to, and that's how it's getting, hey, I've got 10 milliseconds of latency and I'm talking to this Exchange server or this Active Directory server, anything along those lines. And so it actually extends beyond just your Microsoft talking to one another, your software. It actually can start extending out to your hardware. So here I can see that I've got a hypervisor, in this case it's Hyper-V, and I can see that the VM is on this host, and then it's actually down to the cluster. So I actually can see it with the dotted line. It gives me kind of that visual, virtual infrastructure, not your software connections.
Right, but that's all been there. So
yeah, that's present day. So in SolarWinds fashion, we took it and made it better. So what I'm going to introduce you to is the next version of Maps coming out. So right here, I've got a node, Maps DC02. And you know, you can go to the maps just by getting to the left-hand side and selecting maps. But we've now enhanced it where you can actually get into maps multiple ways. So what I want to do is I could actually click into the vital stats. I've actually got it open over here. So I drilled into the C drive on here. So I'm now looking at the C drive on Maps DC02. And again, I actually have the maps icon over here. So I can click it. And now it's going to, just like AppStack did, it put me in context to where I'm starting. Right. So now I'm looking at the C drive on here, and I actually can start seeing some of the infrastructure that it's connected to.
So now the C drive is actually a child of the host machine.
Correct.
So we're able to see the sub-elements mapped as well.
Yeah.
Correct. So I'm going to flip this, just kind of get it more lined up a little bit differently. So that's actually new to the change layout was there where we can change that. So I can come in here, and now I can see I actually have a vSAN device in there. I can see I've got all the other devices. Let me select that so I can see it's part of a cluster and other host that it's on. But what's great about this is now I can actually use these nodes as pivot points.
Okay.
So here I clearly see, hey, green dots, everything's good, but I see a vSAN that definitely looks bad. So I can select it, come over here, and I can actually show the alerts that are on that device. So I've got a couple new options over here. I've got related, connected, alerts, and then the actual recommendations for virtualization point of view.
Okay.
So I can come over here, though I'm going to go back to the vSAN again, and I'm actually going to show all of the virtual machines. So I actually can now use it and start plotting out the other VMs that are connected to it. So I'm just going to select a couple random VMs and hit apply. And so now I've got the vSAN. All of a sudden, look at this. I've got VMs connected to it. I can zoom in and basically keep changing my focus, adding related things to it, basically creating a map of my infrastructure.
So I could actually pivot from this vSAN to this device, select more related devices, and eventually build a map of as much of my environment as I wanted to just by linking up and using, and so this was a term that was new for me, the ancestors and the descendants and the dependencies.
Correct.
Which you actually see those icons along the top.
Right over here, yes.
So there we can see that that device has 128 descendants, it has got 3 ancestors, and it's got 20 different dependencies.
Yeah, and the dependencies is using that ADM technology that we came out with in the the prior quarter. So I mean, it is software. It's looking at who you're talking to. So that's what's great, is that you may not even know that your Active Directory server is talking to your SQL server, or it's talking to this, or it's giving permissions to that, so that you're really able to control that map and build it with no preconceived notions of how things are connected or talking.
Right, we're helping to do the discovery for you. And so once you're done, you close the window, and then you have to come back and rebuild it again, time and time again, right?
Not so fast.
Okay.
So that's what's great about this, is you can actually come in here and you've added your elements, added your nodes, and you've got it saved the way you want. Now you can save it as a group. So obviously we've always had groups before. But the problem with groups is you were just looking at node names. You could filter a little bit, but you'd have to know that A and B are talking to X and Y, where here you come in here and do your dependencies and mapping, and now you don't need to know that. This discovered it for you, and you could save it as a group. Just come in here, hit save, and save it as a name, and now you've created a custom group.
So what I'm hearing about this is that you can, like I said, you can come in, you can place all the objects that you want by finding who's connected to who, save it, and then you can do things like apply a SAM template to the group. So now that you create a group called My Customer Ordering App, or whatever, which has all the databases, all of the infrastructure, all the elements, and I can remove the ones I'm not interested in.
Correct,
right?
yeah. I mean, you could go, if you wanted to do something, you could scale it out to a domain controller. But if you go that next level past the domain controller, you probably get a whole bunch of fluffy noise, printers, copy machines, other things you don't care about. So you take it to where you determine your edges, and then you contain how far out you go and you create your group.
Right, and then, and that's what I was going to say. You create your group with specific elements and objects that you want, and then use it for reporting and alerting and so on.
Absolutely.